You know, DMs are players too. I saw a great tweet the other day, and so I can't take credit for this topic. It just struck me as something really worth mentioning. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm Gregory, this is 1 in 20 D&D, and of course, you're watching the DnDaily vlog, where I talk about Dungeons & Dragons, RPGs, and everything that comes to the tabletop role-playing game genre and hobby. So today, we're gonna talk about Dungeon Masters, or GMs, Game Masters, and the fact that they are players in the game as well. You know, when we sit down at the table, sometimes it's easy for us to overlook the fact that this person, hopefully a friend of ours, this person that's running the game for us, they are a player and a participant in the game as well. They just have a different role than us. Their role is to, you know, manage all the monsters and NPCs and the things that are happening in the world that we are playing our game in, right? They're supposed to adjudicate the roles and the rules and how that is interpreted into the game you all are playing at your table. It's just a different role. I mean, whether you're playing a fighter or a cleric or a wizard or any of the other classes, you could say that you as a player, that's your role. I want to make an analogy. This is probably a really simple example, right? If we're sitting down at a table to play one of my favorite board games, I've been playing it since I was a little kid, you've probably done some similar, Monopoly. We've all played Monopoly, or at least most of us have, and even if we haven't, I'm sure you're familiar with it. The thing about Monopoly is this: everyone that sits at the table to play a game of Monopoly is a player in the game. Yet one person at the table takes on the responsibility of being the banker. They handle processing the money for the bank, right? But that doesn't make them really functionally any different than any other player at the table. They just have a little extra responsibility, and that's it. Well, when you look at Dungeons & Dragons with that lens, or any role-playing game for that matter with that lens, I think you'll see that there's a really, you know, comparable analogy there. The Dungeon Master is still a player in the game. That person still wants to have fun. They want to have fun helping everyone at the table create an epic story, and with epic combat and amazing events and ups and downs, highs, lows, laughter, and maybe even tears. That's their job. That's their responsibility. Sure, they have to put in more time outside of the game because they need to do prep and reading and so forth. That's fair to say. However, we got to keep in mind that they are still a player. And when we keep that in mind, what I'm sure you'll find is that the sort of adversarial gameplay that might happen at some tables will probably go by the wayside, because you'll realize that you're all in it together, you're all there to have fun, and maybe even you might see that you want to try that role out someday for yourself as well. And just to be clear, when I say adversarial, what I mean is like this. For instance, let's take another game that we might be familiar with that we can use as another analogy. So let's take the game of blackjack, right? Card game, blackjack, 21 is what we used to call it when we were little kids. Blackjack is a game where there are definitely players and a dealer, and the dealer's job is to take the money away from the players. That's it. That's all they're supposed to do. They're not really there to ensure that the players have a good time. And in that way, you could see the game of blackjack in a situation where you could say the players are against the dealer, and the dealer is against the players. That's a totally different situation. That is a game where there are clearly two different roles that are distinct. But D&D is not like that. It can get like that. Some people happen to see that, oh, well, it's us against the DM, right? Because the DM is, controlling all the bad guys. And I've seen games like that. It happens. I guess it's probably kind of easy to slip into that mentality or that mindset. I just want to encourage you, my friends, that if you come here to listen to what I have to say and to listen to my silliness, I just hope that I can encourage you to keep in mind that the DM or the GM really is one of the players. In fact, they probably get nearly as much joy and fun out of you and your character doing something epic as you do. So think about that as you check out that video right there. I'll see you tomorrow, and remember, it's your game, play your way.